I want to also take a minute to just talk a bit about art and the pandemic. And I know we all desperately hope that the pandemic is drawing to an end. It feels like it to me. But I also worry that this pandemic may leave behind a danger that's even more insidious and longer lasting than the pandemic, because the pandemic has left our society and our community deeply divided. Families are divided, workplaces are divided. There's a rise of racism in communities. I spent a good part of this afternoon on the phone with a constituent who was so angry, and I could hear so much pain and frustration in his voice. And he was telling me at great length how the pandemic was a conspiracy, that it really did not exist, that it was something that was being perpetrated by the government to control people. And so he was telling me about how, masks and vaccines were something he was absolutely defiant about. But I also talked to people who phone me, who email me to complain about people who are not taking the pandemic seriously, and they want them punished for that. So it does raise in my mind, how are we going to heal? How are we going to come together after this pandemic, after what we've been through together as a society? And I firmly believe that art will play a role in bringing us together. I did read some of the artist stories online. I've heard some of the artist stories and about how art helped you overcome your pain. Art is powerful. It can calm us, it can inspire us, it can heal us, and it can help us rethink what's going on in our heads. So to the artists and the art lovers of North Burnaby, thank you. You are helping us reconnect as a community just when we need to do this. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Janet. Thank you very much for always being very supportive of our endeavors, and for the work that you do in the community, and for always trying to be connected and bringing a positive message to us here in North Burnaby and representing us. So thank you very much, and thank you for attending tonight. Grant, do you want to introduce yourself and then introduce our next guest?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I was told I was muted, so thank you, Michelle. my behind the scenes team. Yes, Grant Withers here, North of Burnaby resident for a long time, and a playful artist. And I've had the pleasure of working with a lot of you folks at Stride and in our audience. And it's a pleasure to co-host the event this week. We're going to be talking, we have another guest speaker coming up very shortly. We're going to tell you a bit about kind of the history of where Stride has come from. I don't know if we're ready yet for what the future holds for Stride, but I'd like to echo something you said, Janet, about the how art is such a powerful tool for healing and connection. I believe that art is also about curiosity and helping us think of new ideas and helping us be nimble and creative, not just in making something, but in making something, like something in the world. So that's part of why I'm here tonight. So I know we have our next guest online. I'd like to welcome Mayor Mike Hurley, who's joining us from Burnaby. We'd love to hear hear from you, Mike. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you, Grant, for introducing me, and it's my my obvious great pleasure to be here to join everyone this evening and to echo the comments of Janet and Grant about the important role that art, poetry, music, all play in our community and keeping us united in some ways. It really is. It really does bring us all together, and that's so important in these divisive days. But you know, I'm so looking forward to the art festival, and you know, I know it's running from January 28th to February 5th, and I would really like everyone to get out, enjoy the work of the great artists and poets, do the Heights Art Walk, and I certainly will be looking forward to doing that. But I'm also really looking forward to the Pikachu night on February 5th, when I always have so much fun when I attend those. And of course, that's at the Shadbolt Center. So to all the artists, poets, look forward to seeing all your work, and congratulations. Also, congratulations to the Burnaby Neighborhood House, North Neighborhood House, for all the great work you continue to do in our community. And with that, and so as not to hold things up, I have the great pleasure of declaring the 2022 Stride Burnaby Arts Festival now open. So once again, thank you for having me, and I'm honored to be here.
Thank you, Mike. That's fantastic. Those are magic words.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Mayor. And yes, as the mayor has officially declared the festival open tonight, we're gonna open it with a bang, and we're gonna just share a quick video with you. If you give me 1 second here.
Gotta go full screen, folks.
Let me try.
You should make sure you're muted.
Yes,
Also,
yes.
Awesome, Jinwen. Thank you.
No, he's not on camera.
Okay,
Just
the-
his profile picture, Mom.
So
Are we able to control everyone else's mic?
yes, now we are. Yep, we got it.
Nothing dangerous was said.
Yes.
I know we sent an invitation out to MLA Katrina Chen and MP Terry Beach. If you're in the audience tonight, I want to thank you for joining us in your busy schedule. It's always great to have support from the people who are passionate about the community.
Yes, thank you very much for their support as well. So now we are getting ready to talk a little bit about Stride and how that we just wanted to share with you a little bit of what goes on behind and what brought us to this point. So Grant, do you want to share a little bit?
Yeah, some people have asked us, or will recognize this amazing thing that happens each year for the past couple of years. But there's really an interesting history that's happened, and how we've kind of meshed with the work of the North Burnaby Neighborhood House. Simone, or not Simone, I'm sorry, Junwen tracked me down probably on the playing field at our kids' elementary school years and years ago, recognizing a fellow crazy artist somehow. I guess we stand out in the crowd, and she approached me and asked if I was interested in taking part in a project called Living Room Art in the Heights. And some of you here tonight may remember the early days of Living Room Art, where a person's home in the community would be turned into a pop-up art gallery, performance stage, arts experience for one night. And Junwen and I ran those together once a year for, I think it was 4 or 5 years we did that. We were connected with the work of the North House by one of our earlier workmates with Stride, Carolyn Sullivan, who'd done some work with the Neighborhood Small Grant with the North House. And we all got to talking and found out more about our collective efforts with building community through the arts. And the Stride Art Wall, or sorry, the North House Art Wall came from that relationship. And then talks started up with how do we increase the connection between the artists in the neighborhood, the residents and the citizens around us who might not know that artists are living nearby, and also the local merchants, the businesses, the shopkeepers on the heights, to sort of build those connections. So we started with the Art Crawl Burnaby Heights 2 or 3 years ago, and that evolved into evolved from a one-day walkabout to a almost 2-week project we had last year, involving online entertainment and in-person workshops. And here we are again in 2022, doing I think some really important work. And this is sort of another step in the evolution of what's going on here in this dynamic arts community we have here in the Heights.
Yeah, and I think also there was obviously pivotal kind of point with the pandemic, where we instead of what happened to the arts in that moment, it was actually pretty drastic and dramatic, in the sense that nobody could do concerts, nobody could do galleries, we couldn't go to the museums and all the stuff. But however, one of the things that Grant and myself talk always about is like, this is the time where the art needs to show up. This is the time, as Janet was talking, like the arts are such a powerful tool for healing and for bringing connections in ways that are different, that are innovative, that are creative. And that's where we wanted to still do something, and still manage to figure out a way to say, don't worry, the arts are here for you, and they will be here for you forever. And we thought that it was very important for us to show for the community that we could do this, and that we could connect through the arts anyway. So that's when we decided to, instead of doing the art crawl, in a way, instead of going small or be like, no, let's just postpone it, we actually went bigger. And we decided to do something even more, bigger, in a way that it will be, showed in more innovative and creative ways, in a ways that we could do it, by having the displays in the windows, so that people could just walk by and watch them as they were walking, doing a lot of outdoor stuff, doing a lot of online stuff as well. So to bring us together, and we had such an awesome response from last year, obviously, that everybody was just like really happy. And another part that we thought is like, why not do it in January and February, when things are even worse and people feel even worse about the situation with the weather? And obviously in the beginning was like, well, January and February is terrible, how can you do stuff outdoors? But like talking to the team with Simone, which is always kind of a yes person in so many ways, and I just love that about Simone. It gets her a lot in trouble, but I think she does so much good for the community, because she is a yes person. And then when we bring up ideas, she's like, okay, let me just figure it out how we can do it. And I think it's been a great also collaboration with the Neighborhood House, which is an uncommon collaboration for artists and a nonprofit organization that like the Neighborhood House, which is more focused towards services, but with us bringing together the nonprofit, that kind of like services kind of mindset that the neighborhood house has with the arts, and bringing community together and doing stuff for the community, I think was a perfect kind of matching actually for what we really were trying to do, which was to lift the community up through the arts and bringing connections through the arts. So that's kind of how everything went. As you can see, I'm very passionate about talking about this. This is something that is really, really close to my heart. And I feel that we have done something really good here with Stride. So I feel very, very proud of this.
Yeah.
So Grant, you have anything to add?
Yeah, I wanted to mention as well talk about another group that shares this passion of building connection. That's the team at We Are Burnaby, which is a sort of a subgroup within the Burnaby North Burnaby Neighborhood House sphere, and they've been pivotal or key to our efforts with Stride, and they share our passion for building connections and sharing the ingenuity and the resilience of the citizens of the city, and using those stories as ways to inspire further moving forward as we move along as a city.
Great. All right. So that was a lot of talking already, but I think it was important for us to share a little bit with you about our thinking and our passion on how did this came about. A little bit of the history. And now we have a musical guest actually line up for you. We have April Liang, who is a 19-year-old instrumentalist and singer-songwriter who's had a passion for music ever since she was a little kid. And you can check out her songs on streaming services like Spotify and I'm guessing, I don't remember the other ones now, I guess Apple Music and stuff. And you can also follow her on Instagram. And she is a Burnaby artist, actually a graduate of, I believe, North Burnaby, at least the ACET program, the music production program. So I'm happy to introduce April to you.
Hi everyone. Hope you guys can all hear me properly. Awesome. My name is April Liang, and yeah, writing songs is like one of my favorite things to do in the entire world. I've been writing songs since I was a kid. So the song I'm actually going to be singing for you today is an unreleased song. It's going to be part of my upcoming EP dropping later this month, and it's very sad and personal, and yeah, I hope you guys like it. So here goes. Gave you my all, but it wasn't enough. I give you a call, would you pick up? Would you pick up? Stuck on this emotional roller coaster you put me on, and I hate it, but no, I wouldn't get off. No, people come and go, but you were home to me. I believed in miracles, maybe you were just lonely, and you know I'd do it all again. Break my heart for your entertainment, 'cause I loved you so. But you'll never know, 'cause you're reckless, you're relentless, so it's time for me to let you go. To let you go. I'll just paint myself another blue sky, but it's easier said than done. Guess I don't need you to get by, though I really thought you were the one. again will I easily believe in empty promises. You swore it'd be us in the end, then change your mind in a second. No, you don't know what love is. No, people come and go, but you were home to me. You don't look at the rocks you throw, just blindly tearing me down so slowly. And the sad part is I do it all again. Break my heart for your entertainment, 'cause I loved you so. But you don't deserve to know, 'cause you're restless, masochistic, so it's time for me to let you go. Yeah, you say you care, and maybe you do, but just because you say it doesn't mean I feel loved by you. 'Cause you don't know what love is. You don't know what love is. You don't know what love is. I don't think you ever know what love is. So it's time for me to go. But I hope you know I really did try. 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 Goodbye. Thank you. So that was a song called I Really Did Try, and I really hope you guys liked it. It's not out yet, but I do have other music out on Spotify and Apple Music if you guys want to check that out. And yeah, my name is April Liang. Thanks again to Stride Arts Festival for having me, and enjoy the rest of the performances tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, April.
So
That was
many
great.
wonderfully supportive comments in the chat window too. Thanks, folks, for adding your applause and your hearts and your love. That's great.
Yeah. So local talent, from Burnaby, and really talented musicians from here, right here in Burnaby. So thank you, everyone. So now we're gonna give you a little bit of a rundown on what is happening at Stride, so you get to kind of like get a little bit of an introduction of all the things that we're going to offer from today until February 5th. So you want to get us started, Grant, while I share my screen here?
Are you going to start us off with the art walk slide there?
I'll do that.
Going backwards in time.
Yeah. Can you see it?
I do. It says Stride
Okay.
Art Walk. Yeah.
There you go.
So this has been kind of the foundation for the Stride, what was the Art Crawl, now called the Stride Arts Festival. And this is kind of what I mentioned earlier with the connection we have with our wonderful local merchants and business owners who, by the way, have offered their space. We have 12 of them. Offered their space free of charge. They're not taking any commission for any art that's sold, and we hope that some people stop in and buy a new favorite piece of visual art. And they've said yes when we approached them to say, would you like to be a part of this, knowing that it's part of the move to strengthen our community through the arts. And I'll mention some of the names of those folks a little later on. Actually, why don't I say, I'm going to read them off right now, because later, if I do it later, it'll be a long list. Our Stride exhibition hosts are Adele Ray Florists, Bon Bon Bakery, Burnaby Public Library, Cafe Artigiano, Cedar Chiropractic and Physiotherapy, Don Osso's Restaurant, Fortuna Bakery, GADF Financial Group, Heights Merchants Association, Muckabout Gift Gallery, North Burnaby Neighborhood House, and Park Insurance Agency. Many thanks to you folks for joining us as a Stride exhibition host this year. So yeah, we have visual art that we just set up over the last couple of days. It's the displays are live. There's one, I think, setting up first thing tomorrow morning, but it'll be ready for you after you have your morning coffee, or maybe buy a coffee at Cafe Artigiano when you do your little walkabout. Hopefully we'll have some nice weather. And all the art is visible from the street. So even if you're not comfortable walking into a shop, or your grocery list doesn't take you into a particular store, but it does another day, you'll be able to see it from the sidewalk. But some artists have extended their display right into the store itself. So if you see some art on display past the windows, do head in, check out the art, and support our local merchants who have opened up their doors for us. So that's kind of the art walk, and it extends from what is our most eastern one, I think, is the Heights our western is Heights Merchants Association, and it goes all the way down Hastings to the Burnaby North Neighborhood House. There's a map for the art walk that was published in the Burnaby Now last week, I think, but it's also on our website, which is in the very first entry of our chat window. If you want to go there, you can copy down our website there, and there are posters on the windows to help you navigate. So that's the art walk.
Awesome. Oops. Sorry. And I'm next, right? So we also have the Stride Story Walk, which is a completely different thing from the art walk. And the Stride Story Walk is a new addition to this year's Stride Festival. And it's actually a collaboration with the We Are Burnaby folks who have a website and actually host our website, and whose mission is to actually bring up stories from Burnaby in a magazine kind of style. And obviously they're doing it electronically right now, but we thought this was a good opportunity for us to share some of the stories of the artists in the neighborhood, of the artists in Burnaby, and kind of more than the story, also kind of like their perspectives and a little bit of their process of what's going on when they are making their art. So we printed them up, and they are actually accessible only by going and see the actual posters that are actually in the Willingdon Linear Park. And now I just went blank about in between which streets and which streets. So it's in between Hastings and Georgia, I believe. So you can go and walk through the linear park, and you will encounter these posters that have these little nuggets of a little bit of a story behind some of our artists from Stride. And as you can see, we have Sheila Chowdhury here and Pat Sexsmith. Those are a little bit of their posters, and their artwork is also printed on the posters, so you'll get to see a little bit of their artwork as well. And as I said, there's also some information about We Are Burnaby and what We Are Burnaby is all about. So when you're taking your walk down the linear park, stop by and read the little interactive magazine, I will say. And that's going to be available all the way to February 5th. I'm going to move on.
The poetry zone. This is actually one of my favorite features of Stride. It's something that came up as a project last year when I was wondering, what am I going to do with all the poems that I write? Because although I'm a primarily a photographic artist, I do dabble in poetry. So I called on local Burnaby poets to join me and put our words out there. And this year is the same. I think it's even bigger than it was last year. And all the the advertising columns that are along the street intersections on Hastings from, I believe, Ingleton to Madison will have these bright yellow poems on them. So as you're doing your errands and checking out the visual art on the art walk, on your way to the story walk over the next week, keep an eye out for these yellow poems and take a moment to read them. And it's, I think, just a neat way to brighten someone's day. If they stumble upon something when they're waiting for the light to change and they just miss a light because they're reading poetry, how awesome is that? So that's a great thing to check out. Great part of Stride. Art After Dark. June Wen, do you want me to take a stab at this?
Yes, please.
This has been a really fun project for June Wen and for me. She has got me interested in video production over the past few years, following her great work, and with my abstract photography and crazy ideas for what's possible with optical equipment. I've been exploring video feedback and recording it and experimenting and seeing what is possible. Normally, video feedback is a thing that is avoided in the industry, but when artists get hold of it, crazy things can happen. And June Wen and I felt that we needed to get some projected video into a public art exhibition, and the Art After Dark project was created. This is actually probably going to be our first of many projected image art pieces that we're going to be doing as pop-up events. And this one is happening in the picnic area in the northeast corner of Confederation Park, coming up on Sunday night. And we've essentially taken over one of the picnic shelters and turned it into a four-sided, and turned it into a glowing, pulsing, music-filled cube, radiating abstract art. And we've essentially taken what one might find in a contemporary art gallery and plunked it in the middle of a park. So we want you to grab your gloves and your scarf and maybe an umbrella and your travel mug of hot chocolate and join us at 7:30 on Sunday night. And it'll be something you've never seen before. And I don't think anyone's ever done it before, except a couple of crazy artists named June Wen and Grant. So we hope to see you there.
All right. So we have a couple of, well, one is really a workshop, and then the other one is actually more of a, kind of like a mingle. It's not really like a teaching, but just an opportunity to connect with other people and maybe try something new. Is the Textiles and Mix and Mingle, which is tomorrow actually from 1 through 3. It's going to be in person, but all COVID protocols are going to be taken care of, including you have to be vaccinated to attend, and you will have to be wearing a mask. But Jenny and Dawn are going to bring materials and be there just to, chat and maybe give you a little intro into one of the things that you want to try, if you want to try something new. This is going to be a North Burnaby neighborhood house, and obviously the participants is limited, so you'll have to register because we only have a few spots for this event. And the other one is going to be a 2-session photography workshop with artist Rebecca Hale, which me and her have also been talking a lot about this concept of mapping our community and mapping it through art. So she's gonna start by trying to map the community with photography and through photography. And you're gonna learn a little bit about photography with her, but we also gonna talk a lot about how do we map our community and this concept of mapping as a way of kind of observing and realizing what's around us, also as a way of realizing what is important to us in our community. And this workshop is going to be online. It's a 2-session workshop. It starts on Sunday and then another session on Friday. and it's online, as I said, and there is also a limit on the participants. So if you want to attend, go to our website and register through the registration link there for the photography workshop.
I'm gonna jump in there because I don't think you had a slide on it. There's also an artist conversation that I'm going to be having with Burnaby artist Jane Appleby. She and I talked a bit last year on an online talk on Stride, and we're going to be coming back again for a repeat performance, talking about some different things. We're going to talk about motivation, resonance, and permission to create. And that is happening, when is that one? That is on, I have that right here. Tuesday night on the 1st at 7 p.m. So I hope you can join us for that. And the link to get your Zoom registration or your Zoom link is on the Stride website.
Awesome. So yeah, and we also have some musical concerts. We have 2 musical concerts, and both of them are going to be online. And one is our always very, very popular Celtic Kitchen Party. And that is obviously, usually is one of our most popular events. I encourage everybody to attend. It's so much fun, and the musicians are fantastic. We have a total of 6 musicians, 3 couples, and that they will be performing. And plus there's a combination also with Philomena Jordan, who is a storyteller. So she'll be telling some Irish stories as well. And so it's a fantastic event that you really don't want to miss. And that's going to happen on February 3rd. That's a Thursday in the evening. It's online, so you can just watch it from the comfort of your home and just enjoy some really fantastic music. You don't want to miss it. And on Friday, the very next day, we have our second concert, which is the North Burnaby Blues Project. And that's, again, another one that you don't want to miss. We just met Garth last year. He was actually our musician for our opening night. And I mean, I totally love it. I love the music they play. I love the blues. And he was, they're fantastic musicians. And you probably don't want to miss this one as well. It's on Friday at 7:30, I believe. You have to register for that as well because it's online. It's on Zoom, but there's no limit there. So if you're available, you can have Celtic Kitchen Party on Thursday and blues on Friday. And the very last one is our closing event, which is a collaboration with the city of Burnaby, of course, the Pecha Kucha night, which the mayor already mentioned. And actually 3 of our artists will be presenters as the Pecha Kucha. And that's going to be an event that is a hybrid event, means you can attend online or you can attend in person. Obviously, in person is going to be, all COVID protocols will be followed as well. And it's promised to be a really good event as well, with a huge variety of speakers. And this year the theme, actually a bit inspired by a Stride grant, if basically us telling the theme is curiosity and creativity. So we're really looking forward to the speakers of that evening and to that event. And
who's going to be the speakers there, Junwen?
Yes, and the speakers are going to be our own Grant Withers. Yay! And Jenny Johnson, who is also here somewhere. Thank you, Jenny. And Liv Davis, who is one of our musicians from the Celtic Kitchen dance party. So it's going to be dance. It's going to be a little bit of a combination of, I guess, visual arts, textile, and yeah, I can't wait. I'm so excited about these three talks. Jenny and Grant are fantastic, and Lead as well. So I'm sure they're gonna do an awesome job representing the Stride. And And we also have actually another collaboration with the city, which is through the Shadbolt Center for the Arts. And almost every artist has one piece in the exhibition at the Shadbolt. And the exhibition is going to be running. So there's actually 19 artists represented at the exhibition that are all Stride artists, and everybody has at least one piece. And the exhibition at the Shadbolt is going to be running from today, technically, probably tomorrow, until March 22nd. And we are so excited about that also. We're so excited to have the opportunity to do a bit of a crossover and have the exhibition at the Shadbolt. And then it's also going to last longer than our festival. So that way, if you don't happen to see one of the artists, you can visit at the Shadbolt, and then you get to see a little bit of every artist. So it's going to be wonderful. And we thank, I believe Marian is somewhere over there. I saw her coming in. So thank you so much for that collaboration. We're really looking forward to that. And with that, we better move on, because we're running now a little bit out of time here. So I'm going to stop sharing. And we have our second musician that is going to play something for us. And his name is Triton. He's a 16-year-old independent musician based in Burnaby. He writes and records and produces all his songs himself. He also shoots his own music videos, and he's currently the host of a radio show on CJSF 90.1 FM. And he does all of that from his trusty basement, who he will be performing for us also from the trusty basement today, I believe, or the garage, yeah. And I hope you enjoy his performance. Thank you, Triton.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm here. I'm Triton. I'm here with my band. This is Nico on the bass, Max on the drums, Sean on guitar. This is my song called "Thought About You." It was released on my my most recent EP called T3, and I hope you like it.
Awesome. Awesome, Triton. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was
If you
fantastic.
want to listen to my music, just look me up on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Triton, Triton. You can follow my Instagram, TritonTypebeat.
Awesome. Thank you, Triton.
Thanks,
Thank you
Triton.
so much.
Also,
you.
lots of
Really
love your way in the
appreciate
chat window. That's a lot
Yeah,
of people
lots.
are loving it.
Thank you.
Lots of people loving it. So
Very cool.
yeah, so another super talented musician from Burnaby, songwriter. They write their own songs, and I see Mr. Alt is there who runs the music production program at North Burnaby
Oh, great.
and secondary school, and he probably, I hope he's proud of these kids that are making their way and sharing also their art with their community, which is great. So thank you very much to Triton and April. That was great.
Thanks,
So yeah, we only have a few minutes left. We don't want to keep you for so long, but we do want to thank people, right, Grant?
Yes, I am here to thank a bunch of people. And if I miss anyone, I apologize. That people have been coming out of the woodwork to offer help, and I'm trying to keep up with entering everyone on my list. But I want to start with our Stride community partners. You'll see many of them see them listed on our posters and our postcard. Couldn't do it without you guys. Burnaby Now, the Burnaby Photographic Society, the City of Burnaby, Heights Merchants Association, Heights Neighborhood Association, Heritage Canada, Tourism Burnaby, and We Are Burnaby. And I'm going to move right along and thank the Heights Art Walk artists, whose art you're going to see along Hastings. Anna Beaudry, Jillian Chatenouf, Jamie Dunn, Deanna Fogstrom, Rick Herdman, Tanis Hopkins, Akemi Ito, Nina Koba, Peter Latti, Marika Morissette, Emily Paco, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, Emily, Jamie Poe, Nina Snyder, Bill Thompson, and me, Grant Withers. Thanks, Grant. The featured artists in our story walk: Sheila Chowdhury, Dorothy Doherty, Karen Klapstock, Pat Sexsmith. Our workshop presenters: Rebecca Heil, Jenny Johnston, and Don Levira. Performers who you're going to hear on our online concerts: Leith Davis, David Holloway, Philomena Jordan, Robert McGregor, Marilyn Nort, William Garth Gibson, and the North Burnaby Blues Project. Carrie Paval, Ron Paval, again, hope I'm pronouncing that correct, you guys. April Liang and Triton Smith, who you just heard. Should I keep going, June Wen? There's so many people.
I know, but yeah, it's I also want to
closing credits. It's like closing
yes,
credits for a
it
movie.
does. Yes, I know. But I think it's also important for you to realize how many people are involved in this. We're close to 30 artists, actually more than 30, I think, that we are collaborating in this festival and trying to put something for the community, right? And for the community that we live in, and that we want to share this with you. Also the community that inspires some of our art, right? Like that is important too. So I think it's important for people to know how many people are involved. And of course, the artists are super important, but there's also people behind the scenes, I think, Grant.
Yes, you know what, I'm going to, I might do this at the end. Junwen might play some music. Jamie Dunn has told me I should read these as the music is playing as we're heading off the stage. I'll read this at the end after we kind of sign off. I do want to talk about these people online or while we're live, but I'll definitely do that on our social media as well, because I want to shout out everyone's support.
All right. So just
we're at 8.
Yeah, so we're at 8. And just to remind you, there are many ways that you can enjoy the festival. There are, like, you can pick up a map at any of our host businesses and then do a walk and visit all the 12 years. Subi is showing the postcard there with a map in the back, and you can pick up one of the maps and then just do a stroll, and visit all the 12. You can do it all in one day or do it in different days, each day you can do a few, 2 or 3. You can also visit the Poetry Zone as well as the story walk. And then you can attend the pop-up art exhibition, art installation on Sunday evening, which will be an hour and a half, but it will be playing on a loop. You don't have to be there the entire hour and a half. So come in for 10 minutes, stay for an hour, bring your coffee, bring your hot chocolate, whatever. We'll be out there in the park, Grant and me. And then you can do online stuff. You can do the music concerts online. You can do the photography workshop online, and then you can also attend the mix and mingle textiles mix and mingle tomorrow in a very, very safe environment that we will be providing for you for tomorrow. So there are many ways that you can engage with art in our community, with art that we have put out with a lot of love for you. So I hope you can feel it through the windows and through the arts and through the Zoom as well. And we thank you very much. And please tell your friends as well. Tell everybody that that something cool is happening in Burnaby in the cool months.
Ooh, nicely done.
I'm just gonna interject one thing, because quite often what happens is people forget all the extra people and all the important people that are behind the scenes. And I know Junwen and Grant are in the forefront right now, but we need to thank them too, because they are a massive part of this festival. I also think that people don't know how much work goes into it behind the scenes with all the social media and the websites. And so I want to thank Suvi, Ariel, and Chantal. We are Burnaby, and Suvia is our social media guru. Thank you, everyone. I wanted to throw that in because Grant and Junwen and the rest need to be thanked as well.
Thanks, Simone.
Thank you, Simone.
One of the community partners I forgot to mention, they were one of the newer ones. Global BC has been super supportive as well of our project.
Awesome.
So do you have music to play me out, Junwen?
Yes,
I will try to make a rhyme. I'm going to make a poem out of all the remaining names of all the people who I haven't mentioned yet. Are you ready? A little poetry slam. So thanks for everyone for coming. Do follow us on social on our at Stride Burnaby Arts, and check out our website. This feels like an actual show. This is awesome. So I got our workshop presenters, our performers. I did the Poetry Zone poets, and I hope I got everybody. Grant Withers, Dylan Edwards, Janet Hyman, Carl Klipperchuk, Natasha El Cito, Ashley Zucolin, Maria Morgan, Zoe Deneau, Stephanie Duke, the public art artists, Junwen Perez Verti and Grant Withers. Online speakers, Jane Appleby and Grant Withers. Pecha Kucha speakers, I'll be joining Leith Davis and Jenny Johnston. My thanks to my co-chair, Junwen Perez Verti. It's been a slice, and we still have lots of work ahead of us, but it's great doing it with you, my friend. Exhibition host liaison volunteer team, Nadia DeSpirito and Lori Very. Wonderful work you guys did out there. Our Poetry Zone was put up over the past couple of days by Nia Davis McGregor. Thanks so much, Nia. Graphic design volunteer Robin Sherland. Such magic you created with our printed material and all the posts that the hosts and artists have been sharing on social media. Beautiful work. North Burnaby Neighborhood House staff, yes, Simone Brandles, Suvi, and Julia Alontok, and webmaster and story walk development team, volunteer team, Ariel Dela Cruz and Chantel Medel. Thank you everybody. It's been it's an amazing project, and thanks for all your support. That's it from us, you guys. Thanks for all your great support and cheers in the chat window. We'll go through them and maybe answer anything we may have missed live. But from Junwen and me, thanks so much for joining us for our kickoff, and have a wonderful, wonderful Stride Festival.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.